Many millionaires don't appear wealthy at all. Instead of wearing designer suits or fancy dresses and cruising around in their luxury cars, they look the same as everyone else on the street. Many of them actually seem broke. If these individuals are so wealthy, then how are they spending their money? If you think millionaires spend their money without consideration, you'd be surprised to see how they spend their money and allocate it for different categories. The average person would benefit significantly if they adopted the spending habits of a millionaire. Hi, my name is Mohit, and I teach people about money, personal finance and investing. If you are interested in improving your financial future, subscribe and hit the like button if this video is helpful. Thomas Corley, the author of Rich Habits, conducted a study of millionaires. Over 5 years, he analyzed over 200 millionaires and studied their careers, personality traits, and how they spend their money. They all had net liquid assets of $3.2 million or more, including cash, bank deposits and investments that can quickly be converted to cash, such as shares of stock. They also had an annual gross income of $160,000 or more. Corley found that there are generally 4 very different types of millionaires. Number 1. The big company climber. Someone who works for a large company devotes all of their time and energy to advancing their corporate career until they find themselves in an executive position with a very high salary. Number 2. The virtuoso. They are among the best at what they do, and they're paid a premium for their knowledge and expertise. Formal education, including advanced degrees, often in law or medicine, is usually a requirement. Number 3. The dreamer entrepreneur. These people pursue their dreams, such as starting their own business or becoming an actor, musician, or author. Dreamers are passionate and love their work, and those efforts reward them financially. The fact that they're entrepreneurs makes them unique in that they have no cap on their potential income when compared to an employee. Number 4. The saver investor. This category of millionaires is the most relatable to the average person. It doesn't matter what they do for a living, how high or low their income is, what credentials they have or what opportunities they got. These individuals prioritize saving and investing consistently, and they're always looking for intelligent ways to build wealth. They prove that anyone can become a millionaire regardless of their occupation. It's common to think that if someone is a millionaire, he must be in a high position at a Fortune 500 company, or perhaps he had an idea of a lifetime and was able to build an incredibly successful business. The fact is that most millionaires were able to reach the $1 million threshold by just being an average person in the saver investor category. Being a saver investor and becoming a millionaire has the fewest barriers to entry because you don't need to be a genius, earn extensive degrees or work unreasonably long hours. They don't take huge investment risks but instead put their money in proven investments with a track record of growth. There are no prerequisites to becoming a saver investor millionaire. Anyone can immediately get on the right track and begin their journey to becoming wealthy. Corley found that in order to become a millionaire by being a part of the saver investor group, you should aim to keep your expenses at 80% of your net pay. He found that saver investors aim to save at least 20% or more of their income and religiously invest that money. The most common and straightforward way to become a millionaire is by implementing a frugal mentality and making investing a priority. Now let's deep dive into how the saver investor group categorize their expenses. Number 1. Housing. They allocate 25% or less of net pay on housing. Housing is the most significant chunk of almost everyone's expenses. Many people spend too much on housing. They don't compromise and end up spending most of their paycheck on keeping a roof over their head. When you're content with a small home or apartment, it can significantly reduce your rent, mortgage, utilities, and other costs accompanying a large space. The saver investor millionaires don't go wild regarding this expense. They keep their housing costs at 25% or less than their monthly pay. These individuals are also willing to sacrifice when it comes to location. Instead of insisting that they live in a prime spot in the city, they know the importance of frugality when it comes to housing and that settling for something less desirable will pay off. Overspending in this category makes it nearly impossible to save and invest aggressively. Number 2. Food and other basic necessities. The saver investors allocate 15% or less of net pay for food and other essential items. This includes food at home, personal care services and other small household essentials, which are non-negotiable for the most part. Number 3. Cars. This might shock you as transportation is usually the second largest expense for the average family, coming in just behind housing. The saver investors spend less than 5% of their net pay on transportation. This includes monthly car payments, insurance, gas tolls, registration fees, repairs and maintenance. Even though millionaires occasionally have expensive cars, it doesn't mean they're spending a large chunk of their income on them. Number 4. Clothing. When it comes to their wardrobe, millionaires don't spend wildly on designer brands and jewelry. They spend less than 5% on clothing and accessories. While there are undoubtedly highly wealthy individuals who buy luxury brands and have extensive clothing collections in various accessories, most millionaires wear generic clothing brands. Number 5. Vacations. It has become common for a middle-class family to spend a relative fortune on an annual family vacation. Whether a trip to Disneyland or a leisure cruise trip, these are extremely expensive for an average household. The saver investor millionaires spend less than 5% of their net pay on vacations. They don't deprive themselves of travel and leisure, but they take modest, inexpensive vacations that don't cost so much that they have no money left over for future travel and other everyday expenses. How does this compare to an average or slightly above family who spends $5,000, $10,000 or $15,000 on a family vacation? Number 6. Entertainment. The saver investors group spend 10% or less of net pay on entertainment. This includes bars and restaurants, takeout movies, music, books and streaming services. These expenses are part of a balanced lifestyle, but the joy received is short-lived and is often not memorable. So, how can a regular person save 20% or more of their income for their future? Let's say you earn a modest amount of $50,000 per year. Saving 20% would be around $750 per month. Learning strategies to reduce expensive items and slowly increase income can easily make this possible. These millionaires are careful about the two highest costs for any household because they know overspending on these categories could make it impossible to save consistently. They are frugal regarding their housing costs. They don't buy or rent more space than they need and are willing to sacrifice when it comes to location. They are also careful when it comes to transportation, and they don't waste money buying more expensive vehicles than needed, thus keeping the most significant household expenses in check. This is key to being a successful saver investor. Regardless of how each type of millionaire is categorized, they all have similar personality traits regarding money. They know how they spend their money and generally don't waste it. They focus on quality and know that being cheap doesn't equal saving money. The good news is that these spending habits are easy for the average person to implement. Consider how the saver investors are spending their money and how their income is categorized so you can do the same. Please share this video with all your friends so they can also understand the spending habits of millionaires, and if you have not already done so, please subscribe and leave us a like. See you in an upcoming episode.